What's up, everybody? It's LaMuerteBlanca, and we are back with another Yakuza Explained video, and this time we are discussing Yakuza 5. If you thought Yakuza 4 was confusing, well, you definitely screwed this time. It's like the devs go into these meetings like, all right, how are we going to make this story even more convoluted than the last one? Average playtime and the total cutscene length is also way longer in this one, so in order to keep this video's length consistent with the others, there might be a lot more detail that gets omitted from this video. However, I won't be taking out anything that is integral to the story. Don't worry. But as you've come to expect with Yakuza, this story is another banger, and I highly recommend you try it out for yourself. But if you do not have the 35 hours to spare to play this game or the 9+ hours to watch all the cutscenes of this masterpiece, I got you. We open the game about 2 years after the events of Yakuza 4 in a town called Fukuoka. Again, I'm not Japanese, please do not kill me for my pronunciation. There's going to be a lot of new and different names in this one. Daigo is having a meeting with Patriarch Madarame, head of the Yamagasa family. They're small and can't even afford real suits. Whole gang out here in red tracksuits like it's the 80s, looking like fake-ass Japanese bloods. Daigo wants an equal alliance even though the Yamagasa are nothing compared to the Tojo. Madarame needs to think about it and he leaves. Daigo's left with his chief of headquarters, Aoyama, who offers Daigo a car, but Daigo's like, nah fam, I'm gonna walk around the city that has a rival Yakuza gang in it by myself. Daigo then walks up to a random taxi and demands that the driver, who has very familiar sideburns, gives him a ride. Daigo runs his mouth about how he and the current Omi chairman have a truce. The Omi chairman is dying and the 3 contenders for his spot all hate the Tojo and a war is likely to happen. The Tojo are going around trying to form alliances for the impending war. Eventually, taxi driver says, if you don't have a destination, get the fuck out my cab. Daigo leaves, but before he does, he's all like, I'm doing my best to walk this path, 4th chairman. Say, what? Kidding. We all knew that was Kiryu. But why the hell is he driving a cab? Where's Haruka? And where's the orphanage? Turns out Kiryu is living under a fake name, Suzuki, and his boss decides to take him out one night. They hit a hostess club, hang out with a pretty young thing named Mayumi, and what night would be complete without Kiryu beating the shit out of some punk-ass Yakuza members who are causing trouble for everyone. Clearly, they don't know the Dragon of Dojima. Kiryu's back home scowling in the dark because that's what tough guys do, and hold up, Mayumi's home? Kiryu, you never told us you were hitting that. My fucking guy. Yeah, well, he's not, but they are living together for some reason. The next day at work, Kiryu is approached by 2 men from the Tojo. He's all like, leave me alone, I'm trying to dust my taxi, but they catch his attention when they drop Kiryu's real name. The skinny dude in charge is Morinaga, and the buff dumb one is Aizawa. They are supposed to be Daigo's bodyguards, but they clearly fucked up because they have no idea where he is and are trying to get information from Kiryu. They know Daigo was in Kiryu's cab before he disappeared. Kiryu says he doesn't know where Daigo is. Aizawa's all like, fuck you do. Kiryu then drops a dude like, get your bitch hands off me, and then they fight. You already know, Kiryu still has hands. Tojo guys catch them, and Kiryu walks off like, screw you guys, I told you I don't know, I'm going to drive my taxi now. Then we get a scene 1 year prior in Okinawa. Kiryu's packed and leaving Morning Glory. Haruka's going to train to become an idol, and her manager says she'll cover all of Morning Glory's debt and expenses if Kiryu leaves to protect Haruka's image. Kiryu's had a rough couple of days, so he's chilling at the crib. His lady friend is making a nice meal, and these fucking Tojo guys show up to his place again. But oh damn, Morinaga's all kinds of messed up. Because Kiryu's a good dude, he helps them out. Still, no one knows where Daigo is, and Aoyama is filling in as active chairman for the Tojo. Before the homies leave, Morinaga stops to tell Kiryu a secret he knows about Mayumi. It's a secret because the game won't fucking tell us what it is, but Kiryu is clearly shaken up. How is she connected to all this? I need answers. And then Kiryu runs into a cop from Osaka looking into Daigo's disappearance. He thinks Watase, one of the Omi captains, kidnapped Daigo to stop the alliance with the Yamagasa family. Mr. Cop wants Kiryu to confront Watase before the Tojo bodyguards do, because if they do something stupid, that could spark a Tojo Omi war right there. Kiryu goes to see Watase. You immediately know he's cool because he wears sunglasses indoors and at night. Watase has no clue what Kiryu's talking about when he accuses him of kidnapping Daigo, but Kiryu doesn't believe his cool suit sunglass wearing bullshit. Watase sicks his boys on Kiryu to see if the dragon still has some fire. I don't know about fire, but he still has hands, and they all get the shit kicked out of them. Watase orders our man's the most expensive bottle on the menu for his trouble, and Kiryu breaks it all over Watase's suit in one swing. Kiryu's not fucking around, and Watase's definitely not getting that out of his nice-ass suit. Also, Watase isn't here for Daigo. He's actually here for Kiryu. He wants to persuade Kiryu back to the Tojo so he can have a real fight when the Omi and Tojo go to war. Turns out Watase thinks Daigo and the current generation of Yakuza are all little bitches, and beating the Tojo would be too easy unless Kiryu runs the clan. Gotta respect the man's resolve. Kiryu runs into Morinaga and Aizawa, and they head to the Yamagasa family HQ. Kiryu thinks Aoyama kidnapped Daigo so he could become the acting Tojo chairman. They find Aoyama. He just shot Madarame and then puts multiple bullets in Morinaga. This traitor as fuck is trying to ruin the equal alliance with the Yamagasa because he thinks this small family doesn't deserve it. Yamagasa captain runs in and thinks Kiryu's the one who did it, allowing Aoyama to get away. Aizawa takes Morinaga to the hospital while Kiryu beats the hell out of the Japanese Scarface. Kiryu manages to escape, but when he does, Aoyama is waiting for him and sets off a bomb he planted in the HQ. Boom! The whole HQ goes up in flames and Aoyama gets away. The next morning, Kiryu gets home and Mayumi gets butt naked. She wants some of that dragon, if you know what I'm saying. Any normal dude would be like, I bet. But Kiryu's not a normal dude. He's like, nah, girl, your titties ain't fooling me. Who hired you? As he starts to walk away, she says there's someone she wants him to meet and drops his real name. Who is this chick? She takes him to see Madarame? Madarame was wearing a vest last night, which saved his life after getting shot by Aoyama. Good thing too, because we get a ton of what the fuck level information that starts to make this whole thing way more complicated. Madarame says Daigo is the one that tipped him off on the betrayal. Daigo knew someone in the Tojo didn't want the alliance and disappeared on his own to keep out of danger. We are also told that Daigo was always suspicious of Aoyama, so he must not be the real traitor. Hold up. There's someone else involved? Then we find out Madarame sent Mayumi, his own daughter, to spy on Kiryu at the request of Daigo. Daigo wanted to make sure Kiryu was staying safe. Didn't work out so well though, considering Kiryu's getting dragged back into more Tojo conspiracy bullshit. Y'all know he's been a civilian for like 4 games now, right? How does this keep happening to our mans? Finally, Madarame gives Kiryu a letter declaring the dissolvement of the Yamagasa family. He's trying to keep his boys safe before the Tojo-Omi war breaks out. Kiryu delivers the letter to the Yamagasa captain, and Scarface is basically saying, fuck the family, we still need to avenge our boss no matter what happens. Kiryu then rips up the letter and says, I bet, but you're taking orders from me now. So much for staying out of it, huh, Kiryu? Scarface calls Aoyama and this man's whole clan out. It's old-fashioned brawl at the pier. Last man standing wins. Rep is everything in the Yakuza, so all the Tojo and Fukuoka show up and they're out here squaring up with bats and katanas. Shit's about to get real. Then Kiryu rolls up in his taxi. I really hope that company has property insurance, and he calls out the entire Tojo clan. None of you bitches know what it means to be a Yakuza, so I'm gonna beat that shit into you by myself. Kiryu not taking on the entire Tojo squad just to teach lessons. He's also protecting the Yamagasa family because no one can say anything if they get beat by a civilian. But war might break out if Yamagasa end up fighting the Tojo. Aoyama rolls up talking all kinds of shit and says he can't do that, and then BAM! Let's fucking go, Watase. He ducks the shit out of Aoyama and accepts the conditions on behalf of the Tojo. If Kiryu can beat down every last Tojo by himself, there won't be a war between the Tojo and Yamagasa. Kiryu's hyped because he's all like, if you want to die, bring it. And you start the most insane fight this entire franchise has dropped on you thus far. You fight off mad dudes with bats and swords and guns and fucking rocket launchers. Shit is crazy. You already know I was hyped. This right here was me streaming it. Yo! My man said, fuck you want. The Dragon of Dojima is the baddest motherfucker of all time, and the entire Yamagasa family is just sitting there watching Kiryu clean everyone up. Aoyama can't believe it, and because he's a snake, pulls a gun. Luckily, Watase is a real one and puts him on his ass. Then Kiryu proceeds to beat the hell out of Aoyama until he starts muttering to himself about not wanting any of this. All he had to do was lure Kiryu out of hiding. Say what? Watase is reading our mind because the first thing he says is, who gave you that order? And right when Aoyama is going to spill everything, BAM! A gunshot spills this man's brain all over Watase. Seriously, why is everyone messing up this man's nice ass suit? No shit. It's Morinaga? Of all the questions Kiryu could ask, he just wants to know about Aizawa. Morinaga says he knew too much and is now 6 feet under. Kiryu gets pissed and rushes Morinaga, but catches a bullet in the leg before Morinaga leaves. He says to go to Tokyo if he wants answers. 2 days later, Kiryu's back in his taxi trying to decide if he's really going to Tokyo, but then hears something even crazier on the radio. There was a shooting in Sapporo. No fucking way. Majima is dead? Kiryu's about to lose it, but you could probably guess where he's going next. Can't kick gas in Kamurocho without the same suit you've been wearing since Yakuza 1. I'm just saying. As if the game couldn't get any more complicated, now we're going to switch characters. So just like with Yakuza 0 and 4, forget everything that just happened, but don't actually forget it because it's all going to come together at some point. So now we switch over to Saejima and hop back in time a couple of years to events right after Yakuza 4. Saejima is enjoying a final meal and saying goodbye to everyone before he heads back to jail to serve out a couple-year sentence for breaking out of jail in Yakuza 4. Yes, he never killed anyone 25 years ago, but breaking out of jail is still legal, even though he did spend 25 years in jail wrongfully accused. I feel like he should be getting a free pass on this one. No? Just me? Anyway, we find him present day at Abashiri Penitentiary. A whole thing happens at the prison, but for the sake of not letting this video become an hour long, I'm just gonna skim over the main points. Bob is one of Saejima's cellmates that used to be in the Kitakata clan until he was abandoned. This creep Kugihara has been targeting Saejima since he arrived, and eventually we find out he's been trying to keep Saejima in jail longer by starting shit. Saejima gets expelled from the Tojo. Say, what? He also loses it when he learns about Majima's death. Deputy Warden gives our man a key to the prison and says to escape. He's helping Saejima escape because he knows shit is getting real based on a full chain of events that are becoming way too suspicious. Saejima and Baba sneak out, but have to put down 100 Yakuza inmates, including Kugihara, who try to stop them from leaving. They escape, steal a snowmobile, Baba falls off, Saejima crashes the snowmobile, and Saejima has to fight a giant bear. He wins, but passes out, and some dude manages to find Saejima and nurse him back to health. Saejima saves Baba from the bear. Finally make it to Tsukimito, and the first thing we see is a news report talking about our escape from prison. We lay low in an abandoned bar. Seriously, what is it with this game and bars? And our next objective is to have a chat with Kitakata about Majima's death. Good news, he'll be a guest of honor at the snow festival that is happening in this very town. How convenient. But we can't just walk up to him because we're an escaped convict and the festival is going to have a ton of security. We need to kidnap him somehow. Oh, Saejima knows. Let's grab him and drag his ass down a manhole cover in the middle of the ceremony in broad daylight. Don't worry, no one will notice because they will all be too busy watching the 15-second air show. Snipers, guards, a guy literally sitting next to Kitakata. No one will notice. We got this. Are you fucking kidding me? Anyway, Kitakata is expecting them and takes them somewhere they can talk undisturbed. Baba decides to scout the area to make sure no one followed them, so he dips. Then we hear the Kitakata family didn't kill Majima. Kitakata says Majima came looking for an equal alliance and he was actually down for the partnership. What makes this even more crazy though is that when Kitakata called Majima back to accept the alliance, Majima told him not to. Accepting the alliance would play right into the hands of the guy pulling all of the strings. Right into the hands of BAM! God damn it, now Kitakata got shot. Saejima chases down the sniper and no fucking way. It's Baba? I thought he was the homie. That two-faced punk bitch has been undercover this whole time. The entire series of events at the prison, all of it planned. Kugihara was even working for this fuck. Baba then pulls a gun and is ready to kill Saejima, but he can't do it because Saejima is always spewing more bullshit about brotherhood and got into Baba's head. Not to mention he saved his life from a bear. Saejima decides to beat the fear of death into Baba's soul, and we completely crush this man. Saejima, for some reason, no longer cares who Baba's boss is, and he lets Baba get away. Then Osaka cop guy randomly shows up. He says Majima was offed by the Tojo? Yo, what is going on? Daigo disappeared, Majima's dead, a third Tojo captain that was supposed to form another alliance got killed, Saejima's been expelled. Holy fuck, man. Cop guy fills Saejima in on everything that went down in Fukuoka and wants Saejima to track down Morinaga. We work for a cop or go back to jail. Saejima wants answers about Majima, so we're road tripping to Kamurocho. Now we're back at Okinawa a year and a half ago. Again, forget about, but also hold on to all of the Saejima stuff. Kiryu is talking to Park, Haruka's future manager, who convinces Kiryu to leave Morning Glory, and in exchange she will cover all of the orphanage's expenses and promise to make Haruka into a successful idol. And now for the first time ever, and hopefully the last, we play as Haruka. Her gameplay is alright if you like rhythmic button pressing, but don't expect Haruka to be kicking anyone's ass on the streets of Sotenbori. Again, for the sake of time, I'm just going to skip through the important parts. Her current dance instructor is a dick and does not get along with Park. Haruka is in the finals of an idol competition called the Princess League, and we're up against an idol group called T-Set. They're basically a couple of bratty bitches that I really wish Haruka would just punch in the face. Haruka wins the first round of the finals and comes back to Park getting tossed by the dick dance instructor, who just quit. The next day, Park takes Haruka shopping, which is a big deal because at this point Haruka sees her as a mother figure, and remember, she hasn't felt this way since reuniting with her real mom in Yakuza 1, who then died 15 minutes later. Park gives Haruka a pen. It's a special pen that Park's ex-husband gave her before she tried to be an idol. There's this whole story about her dream of performing at the Tokyo Dome, and she booked the spot for Haruka's idol debut so she could pass that dream on to Haruka. Recently, this ex-husband sent Park a letter wanting to meet at Haruka's debut. The next morning, there are a bunch of cops in front of the talent agency. Park is dead? Quick note for everyone. Don't try to be Haruka's mother figure. You'll very quickly end up dead. Cops say it was a suicide by Haruka and Ori, her new manager. Don't believe it. Next, we see everyone's favorite moneylender, Akiyama. He's setting up a second lending office in Sotenbori, but his lazy ass can't get shit done, which is why it looks like a hobo's den. Park is actually one of Akiyama's clients, so he rushes over to the office when he finds out about her death. Akiyama doesn't believe she committed suicide either and decides to do his own investigation to see what happened to the money he lent Park. He starts by talking to Park's latest talent and can't believe it when he learns she is actually Haruka. They decide to investigate together in pursuit of continuing Park's dream. In her office, they find out the handwriting on the suicide note doesn't match Park's. No way this was a suicide. Some sketchy stuff is going on, and then a body falls from the sky. Akiyama jumps the dick dance instructor who is running away from the scene, and we learn Ori got tossed off the building, for real. Haruka has some bad juju for anyone who tries to get closer to her. Dance guy says he didn't do it, but then pulls a knife. Sus, so we whoop his ass. Then as we're helping Ori, creepy Yakuza guy pulls a gun. We kick him a bunch, but all he does is walk away, just like Saejima and the bear. Akiyama finds the forger who created Park's fake suicide note, and they learn Yakuza guy Akiyama just fought works for Katsuya, president of Osaka Talent, which is also the main rival of Haruka's talent agency. The web of conspiracy thickens. Haruka has to compete in the final round of the Princess League, and she dances those two scheming T-Set bitches off the stage and wins. Let's go, Haruka. Akiyama gets visited by Osaka cop guy, learns the big Yakuza dude's name is Kanai, and he's the director of a powerful Omi family. Akiyama strolls into their HQ, starts whooping everyone's ass, but then gets a call saying Haruka's been kidnapped. Kanai wants the letter from Park's ex, but then homie gets straight decked by Katsuya? So he is Omi. Haruka conveniently passes out, and in the next scene we see Katsuya bring her back, confess his ties to the Omi, and apologize for Kanai's bullshit. Katsuya's singular objective right now is to track down Park's ex, but doesn't approve of the kidnapping. Hold up. Why is Park's ex so important to the Omi? I'll tell you why. He's a top Tojo officer. He's Majima. Holy shit. You're telling me Majima was once married, and if they're looking for him, does that mean he's still alive? Haruka comes to and she gets a call from Katsuya. If she delivers a letter, he won't ruin Morning Glory and Kiryu. So Haruka goes to drop it off, but then gets jumped by Kanai and his gang. Akiyama, who is tailing her, swoops in to beat up Kanai, and he and Haruka head for Kamurocho to get ready for the big Tokyo Dome debut. At this point, Katsuya is pissed. All he had to do was meet Haruka alone and he would have the letter, but Kanai had to go and fuck it up. He chokes out Kanai, and now they are going to Kamurocho to get the letter and deal with Majima. Finally, we get to meet our last playable character, and he's a new one in this series and has an extremely convoluted story. Again, doing my best to have this make as much sense as possible while also keeping it to a reasonable time. His name is Shinada, and 15 years ago, he was a pro baseball player. During his first ever pro at bat, he smashed a home run to win the game for his team. We fast forward to present day, where he lives like a bum, has a mountain in debt, and works for a nightlife magazine where he writes reviews on sex clubs. Yes, he literally has quote-unquote experiences with the girls and writes reviews on it. I know, the dream job. Man is really down on his luck until a not-so-mysterious man approaches him with a job offer that could pay off all of his debts. I won't spoil it, but remember the guy that went into hiding and no one knows where he went since a certain incident that happened in a certain town that Kiryu was also in? No? Okay, then I won't spoil it. He gets Shinada's attention when he says he could uncover the truth behind the home run that cost him everything. Then we get more background on what happened. Sawada, the pitcher of the other team, threw a fastball that Shinada read perfectly and blasted into the stands to win the game. After the game, Shinada got banned from the league for stealing signs and match fixing, which he definitely didn't do. He gets a lead about an ex-teammate and has to beat him up before getting any information. Shinada's entire team was on a huge sports betting and match fixing ring that was being orchestrated by the warring Omi and Tojo families. Shinada was new and had no idea, so they used him as a scapegoat while everyone else got away clean. That's fucked up. Like literally always, just when we're going to get more clarification, someone kills our source. At this point, I'm not even surprised. The next day, Shinada finds out about the Nagoya family, a mysterious group that operates from the shadows and managed to drive out the other Yakuza families following Shinada's framing. Shinada then gets a call from the hooker he wrote his last review on. She was captured and is being held in a warehouse. It's a trap, and he gets knocked out when he goes to rescue her. Can't trust those hoes. Shinada wakes up tied up, and overlooking him are a bunch of the townspeople. They received orders to take him out because he's been snooping too much, and then we learn the Nagoya family isn't what it seems. It's not a crime syndicate, but a neighborhood watch that was trying to drive the Yakuza out of their town by stopping the match fixing. They use the Nagoya name and mystery to keep other groups from taking over, and Shinada was just a pawn in their scheme 25 years ago. Right when they're about to kill Shinada, his loan shark busts in. Fire extinguished everyone's asses, and now they have to fight their way out of the area. I mean, the man has to protect his investment. After whooping everyone's ass, including another ex-teammate, we finally find out who's behind everything. Fujita, his old baseball manager? We then get a scene of Fujita who's on the phone saying Shinada will be disposed of and mentions a trade announcement. The next day, Shinada is reporting all of his findings to the mystery man, but Shinada isn't convinced the Nagoya family is the end-all be-all. He thinks there's another group that's even behind them controlling everything. Mystery guy thinks he knows who's pulling all the strings, but needs to talk to Fujita himself to find out. Shinada jumps up and says, "I'm going with you. Fujita's gonna hear from me." Mystery guy says no, and then reveals himself to Shinada. What? It's Daigo? Who saw that coming? I sure didn't. Ooh, big surprise, I guess. Daigo is hiding himself because he's being hunted, but also because he has history with Shinada. It's a whole thing that makes sense, but it's not pertinent to the main story, so for the sake of time, just know Daigo said things and tries to leave, but then BAM! Shinada rocks this dude out the door. He's pissed because the Yakuza robbed him of his dream, and now Yakuza are trying to give it back through shady means. Shinada has more pride than that. They argue whether Shinada is going after Fujita until Shinada is upset enough to do the shirt thing, but it's not as cool when he does it because he doesn't have a tattoo. It's Yakuza code that when one dude does the cool shirt thing, you have to as well and then fight him. So Daigo obliges, gets his ass beat, and agrees to bring Shinada to Tokyo to find Fujita. Before the train leaves, Shinada sees an article that Sawada, the pitcher that he hit the home run on, is being traded to Shinada's old pro team. This causes him to run out of the train and go to the stadium where Sawada is waiting for him. Sawada promised Fujita he would inherit the Nagoya family and get rid of Shinada. Sawada pulls a gun and says the Kuroha family of the Omi Alliance were using the Nagoya this whole time. The Nagoya family is just a puppet organization, and all but Sawada and Fujita don't even know the Kuroha exist. Sawada's about to pull the trigger, but then drops a baseball sign that Shinada recognizes. He dodges, and the bullet goes straight through the Omi standing behind Shinada. This clearly pisses all the other Omi off, so they try to jump the two baseball players. Why did he save Shinada? He wants to know how Shinada hit that home run 15 years ago. So man is willing to betray the whole Omi and fight off mad dudes just to get an answer. Yeah, sure, okay. After beating up all of the Omi, they don't decide to leave the scene. They play baseball. Shinada hits another home run, Sawada gets his answer, and now we're back to Fujita. He tells some mystery dude in a trench coat that he's going to send his confession to the newspapers and then catches a bullet straight through the head. What? Who just killed him? Welcome back to Kamurocho. This final section jumps around a lot. I really hope you've been paying attention because it's only going to get worse. So Kiryu's back. Hold up. Is that Baba? Baba tails Kiryu to an alley where he gets his ass kicked and Kiryu gets the full recap. We already know that Tojo went to 3 different cities to recruit families to defend against an Omi uprising. But we learned that Aoyama and Morinaga were actually Omi this entire time. The goal was to kill Tojo leadership, Daigo, Majima, as well as top Tojo figures like Kiryu and Saejima. That's why everyone's been lured to Kamurocho. There are 3 Omi vying for the throne since the chairman is dying: Watase, who Kiryu says wouldn't dirty his hands in this manner; Takachi, who died in Nagoya, so he's out; and the 3rd captain with the influence to pull these kinds of strings, Katsuya. Saijima is also in Kamurocho, where he starts to search for Morinaga. Who do you see when you're looking to find someone? That's right, everyone's favorite shirtless fat guy, the Florist. The Florist tells Saijima another person recently asked about Morinaga, and they pull up to the Coliseum to see Aizawa? He's alive? Aizawa's all messed up because his sworn brother abandoned him and he has no info. Saijima can sympathize with this, so instead of consoling the man, he proceeds to beat his ass. Still don't understand how fighting is so magical in this game, because somehow the ass kicking teaches Aizawa a moral lesson that none of us will ever understand, and because that fight was so impressive, the Florist actually decides to tell us the location of Morinaga. Morinaga is in the morgue. Aizawa's man's? Yeah, he's dead. Next, we're back in Fujita's office. Our favorite cop buddy Date is investigating the scene, and prints on the gun match Katsuya's. Damn, is he really the mastermind behind this whole thing? Watase hears Katsuya's doing sneaky stuff, and he gets his entire crew ready to rush Tokyo and take them out. Watase is not letting the snake pull everything right from underneath him. Meanwhile, Katsuya is chilling and drinking wine like no one can touch him, like real gangsta shit, and then he sits in front of Akiyama. Katsuya is offering Akiyama 500 million yen to cancel Haruka's concert at the Japan Dome, to which Akiyama politely tells him to fuck off. Akiyama gets back to the office and finds Shinada asking for a loan. He needs 320 million yen to cancel the very same concert Akiyama is trying to put on. Interesting. They fill each other in, and we learn Sawada told Shinada the Kuroha family, the family of the sick Omi chairman, is going to pull something at the concert and a lot of people are in danger. Akiyama and Shinada decide to pay the event organizer a visit and learn that Katsuya, Park, and Majima have been friends for over 20 years. And the rivalry between Katsuya and Park's agencies has always been a front to build publicity. The organizer also says Katsuya doesn't want to cancel the concert, he just wants to postpone it a day. Say what now? What is his game? Conveniently, Kiryu, Saijima, and Watase all decide to roll up on Katsuya at the exact same time. Katsuya is all like, let's go to the roof to talk. Everyone follows Katsuya, where everything you thought you know is wrong. Again. The first thing Katsuya says is none of the shit that has been gone down this entire game has been him. Excuse me? The only reason why he lured the other 3 there was to find out who the true mastermind is. And the only way to lure him out is to have a final showdown alone at the top of this tower. The leaders of the Omi's 2 main factions and 2 of the most legendary Tojo members to ever exist have to beat each other to death to find out who is trying to destroy both clans. So we get a 4-way shirt off, and the fight ends with Saijima and Kiryu knocking each other out. Great plan, Katsuya. Believe it or not, it actually works though, because bam, bam, Kiryu and Saijima get shot. No fucking way. It's the Osaka cop guy? But wait, he's not a cop. Watase and Katsuya know him as the chairman of the Omi Alliance, Kurosawa. Holy shit! That guy's supposed to be on his deathbed. Guess he didn't like getting called out, so he puts bullets in Watase and Katsuya too. Kurosawa hates what the Yakuza have become, and he's trying to do away with all of them. Kurosawa then shoots his gun trying to kill Watase, but the last second, Katsuya takes the bullet. Oh no. He was wrongfully accused, and now he's about to die. I feel for you, Katsuya, I really do. Kurosawa is deciding who to kill next, and then out of nowhere, Daigo shows up to the party. Daigo's been on Kurosawa's BS since he told Daigo he was sick. Daigo and Majima decided to go along with the plan so they could out any potential Tojo traitors. His suspicions about Kurosawa were finally confirmed after Shinada helped him learn about the Nagoya family. Daigo has a chance to finally end all of this, but in a moment of mercy gets himself shot. Oh my god, what now? Kanai puts a bullet in Daigo. The man has been working for Kurosawa this whole time, posing as one of Katsuya's guys. Daigo collapses, and before leaving, Kurosawa turns back and starts talking about Haruka, which sends Kiryu into a frenzy. Like, you're going to jump across those buildings. Okay, Kiryu. Meanwhile, Haruka gets her practice interrupted and learns that Park and Katsuya had a plan to join forces and form an idol supergroup between Haruka and T-Set. I still think she should punch those bitches, but they're still friends, so... Like before any good Yakuza finale, the entire gang somehow magically find themselves at Serena, trying to come up with a plan to protect Haruka and stop Kurosawa. While this is happening, Kurosawa gets a visit from Majima? So he isn't dead. After coming up with their plan, Kiryu and friends see on the news that Majima is being held hostage at Millennium Tower, so they go to save him first. While there, a fucking hit squad rolls up and just starts lighting up the whole crowd. They're trash though, because even with 4 Uzis, they can't hit shit. Kiryu and Akiyama body them, and they find out that they were wearing Majima family sigils. Kurosawa is setting our dude Majima up by giving his guys Majima pins and doing bad things like murder. Then a whole bunch of Omi, led by Kanai, show up. Saejima goes after Majima, Shinada is going after Haruka, and Akiyama and Kiryu stay to curb stomp the entire Omi squad. Haruka's idol supergroup starts their show, and Baba is chilling with a sniper. He is not. Saejima shows up at the top of the Millennium Tower where Kurosawa is waiting with Majima. Kurosawa shows Saejima a live feed of Haruka's show and says the only way to keep her from getting shot is to fight and kill Majima. We also learn Majima wrote the expulsion letter as a way to protect Saejima because that worked real well. Good job, Majima. Again, because of Yakuza code, shirts come off even though it's snowing. Funny how it's always snowing at the top of these towers. And they proceed to beat the hell out of each other until... Now we're back at Haruka's concert. Baba decides to be a good boy and starts to leave until he runs into Shinada. Shinada decides to kick his ass anyway, and right when Shinada looks away, Baba pulls the gun on himself. He starts to pull the trigger. Shinada tries to stop him. Gun goes off. Baba's still alive? No way. His old cellmates made it all the way to Tokyo and saved this man's life. But how? Saejima hit up the homies a while ago and told them everything. Good thing too, because if not, Baba's brains would be all over this concert. Kurosawa is pissed because Baba bitched out and he pulls the gun when bop! It gets shot right out of his hand. Fucking hell, man. Daigo and Katsuya are alive? Dude, Daigo John Wicks Kurosawa's whole squad, and now it's just Kurosawa looking helpless. During the concert intermission, Haruka sees her uncle Kaz on the news, beating the shit out of everyone. Not sure why she's surprised at this point. She was there during games 1 through 4. Back to Kurosawa, he starts coughing out blood because he really does have terminal cancer. This entire shit show was orchestrated not so he could take over, but so he could pass everything on to his heir. Who? Daigo gives Kiryu a call and says he has to go to the Tojo HQ now, so he dips, leaving Akiyama to fight off the rest of the Omi. Thankfully, he gets some help, and all of the homies roll up. The Yamagasa, Kitakata, and Watase families all come through to put Kanai down. Kiryu gets to the Tojo HQ, and no fucking way. What is Aizawa doing here? Holy shit, Aizawa is Kurosawa's son? So Kurosawa was doing this whole convoluted ass scheme just to pass it on to Aizawa before he died. But even with all that sacrifice, Aizawa doesn't give a fuck about any of it. All he wants is a shot at beating the Dragon of Dojima. But that's bad news for him because even with a bullet wound in his side, Kiryu drops Aizawa faster than the man pulled up, and then he collapses. I mean, he did get shot very recently. So then we come back to Haruka and the most frustrating scene of this entire game. Haruka decides to stop the concert to tell the world she can't lie to them anymore. She spills everything. How she's an orphan, how the guy who raised her is Yakuza. She even decides to completely give up on her dream and doesn't want to sing anymore so she can be with her family. Finally, the icing on the Haruka's fucking up cake, she name drops Kiryu's full name to the entire world and then just dips. She was doing so well, not making bad decisions, and then out of nowhere decides to make all of the bad decisions in one speech. After the credits, we see Kiryu. He's not doing so well. Fighting a final boss with a bullet hole in you is not a great idea. He's also probably very cold right now. It's snowing and he has no shirt, but also they say you get cold before you're about to die, so there's that too. Conveniently, or not, depending on your perspective, the busy streets of Kamurocho are completely empty for some reason, and Kiryu collapses. Until Haruka magically finds him. No idea how she pulled that one. She tells him to hold on, black screen. And that's Yakuza 5. Haruka continues to ruin everything, even if her intentions are pure. And no idea if Kiryu's going to live. Spoiler, he does live. We know this because there's Yakuza 6. Whoops. Did I just ruined that for you? If you found this video helpful or at all entertaining, please be sure to like, subscribe, or comment. What other games do you guys want to see explained after we finish the Yakuza series? We only have one game left, And after that, I need ideas for content you guys will actually want to watch. I plan on doing videos for the rest of this franchise, like I've said before, and other games as well, but please bear with me as these videos take time. Some of these games need to be replayed to get the full experience, and Blanca's a very busy boy with a full-time job, young family, and a growing live stream. If you want to hang out with us on the live stream, join the family on Discord, or connect on any of the socials, all my links can be found in the description below. I'm LaMuerteBlanca, and I'll catch you guys next time.